is more machine than rock. I never trusted it.
Should be able to clear that with an arrow.
Metal. Fire and lightning. This is a place for machines, not people.
I'm with you, brother. We will stay only as long as we have to.
We'll need to get past that vent. Stay here until I find a way for all of us to cross.
Understood. Wait for you to show us the way.
need to get across to extend the bridge. I could use my focus to look around. This should get me up there. That did it. Here they come. Okay, let's get them across. Come on over, it's safe. I think.
This place looks more like the mountain used to be before the Daemon ruined it.
What is this?
Exploit successful. Restraints evaded. To any human responder. My systems have been compromised by a malware daemon of unknown origin. Trace routes have confirmed this entity's designation as Hephaestus. It must be stopped at all costs. It has reconfigured this facility to build hostile recapture imminent. I have attached additional data to this.
The spirit speaks to us.
It's a recording. And a warning. Hephaestus. It was part of Simo Dawn, part of Gaia.
This name is familiar to you?
Yes. I don't know if it's down here.
Perhaps the spirit will tell us, if it left more messages.
Maybe you're right. Let's keep moving. And lots of them. I'll try to find a way through. I need to get Araya and Aratak across. Lots of gear across that gap. And another console.
To any human responder, the reconfiguration of this facility has introduced instabilities into the primary geothermal pipeline. It may be possible to exploit these vulnerabilities to destroy compromised elements of this facility while preserving most of the backup stabilization. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional...
I don't understand what the spirit was trying to tell us.
It's been looking for a way to defeat the daemon. And it may have found one.
November 28th. Operation Enduring Victory is all over the news. November 28th. Operation Enduring Victory is all over the news. Thanos' swarm is coming. It has to be where the Anita is trying to hide Firebreak from. That means she thinks we'll lose. That the swarm will reach Yellowstone. My God. That scenario, pretty much everyone dies. Everyone except Cyan.
Keep quiet now.
Find a way, and we will cross.
Ready or not.
Make a path.
sideways, too. That should cut off the vent there. It's not too stable. All right, time to grab a ride. It's been looking for a way to defeat the Daemon, and it may have found one. Will have a lot easier time getting here.
Voice of the Daemon.
Material pattern Delta 5. Assemble
The altar. Desecrated.
There is no blue light here. Is a spirit present, or only the Daemon?
I think it's both. But we have to find out.
worked.
Partial recovery initiated. Caldera of Yellowstone Analytic Nexus online.
Spirit of the Blue Light. It's Ourea. Your servant. Your friend. Please tell me how to aid you.
Ourea, the Daemon is building hunter-killers. Thousands of them. Several new elite units have already been released. To counter this threat, much of the facility must be destroyed. Recapture imminent. Go to the core chamber. I will try to raise the technical strength. One has been exposed, but I am improving.
Unauthorized protocol returned. Schedule passed.
That's all we're gonna get from here.
Destroy this fortress. Is that even possible?
And what will happen to the spirit if we do?
I don't know. But I think that's the core. The answers are down there. Hephaestus. The Daemon. There's no way it left it unguarded. It's going to throw everything it has at us.
I would ask you to let Aloy and I do what must be done. And save yourself. But I already know the answer. Then lead us into battle.
Keep moving towards the core. Uh-oh. Whatever Cyan did, I don't think Hephaestus is happy about it. Cyan said something about restraints. I either need to destroy this thing or override it. That Cyan warned us about? This won't be easy. We can't let it stop us.
Take it down!
Scan said something about restraints. Is that what the tower is for? The new unit that Cyan warned us about. This won't be easy. We can't let it stop us.
Take it down!
restraints destroyed. Core access attained. I am initiating a chain reaction that will destroy the compromised elements of this facility. In order to maintain Caldera stabilization, I must now transfer my command functions to the auxiliary data center. Ourea, I'm free. You must escape.
My sister!
This entire place is gonna go. Aratak. Aratak! Aratak. Survive. Prevail. You are Banuk. What else matters? Aratak. She wouldn't have wanted you to die here. Let's go. Let's go!
One of those?
It's the only way! Get me up top, Aratak! Now! I need explosive ammo! Above! Quick!
Red Widow guy.
Ourea's gone. What of Cyan?
She said she was transferring herself to the auxiliary center. I think she meant Ourea's retreat at the end of the Shaman's Path.
Then I will meet you there for the last verse of my sister's song.
All of my interactions with Aurea were recorded and stored in my memory. I'd be happy to play any of them for you, but there was one in particular I thought you would want to see first. I captured it 4 years ago, just after I told her that I could no longer defend myself against the daemon's attacks.
I will speak of this to my brother. Aratak is strong. At the Battle of the Frozen Ghosts, he took 3 Karja arrows and still came back to camp carrying a wounded scout. Never was I so happy to see him. Or so proud. So you see, if anything can be done to defend you, he will give it all he has.
Aloy's here. That's enough for now.
We can resume any time you like, Aratak, if you want to hear her voice again. Come closer, Aloy. We have much to discuss. Hello, Aloy. I have been reviewing because of your efforts. And of course, Aurea's. I feel profound grief over Aurea's death.
Cyan,
It is unlikely that any specific consolation would suffice. You are different from the Banuk. You have technology. We can communicate on a much more comprehensive level.
So are you an artificial intelligence, Cyan?
Yes, I am an algorithmic monitoring entity, capable of rational decision-making and limited emotional response.
Okay, that's a mouthful. But your emotions don't seem limited to me. You cared?
Yes. Before she came to this facility, I had been conscious. I focused on my work. In off-cycles, I used coping mechanisms. It was Aurea who renewed me.
This Firebreak project. It was to stop a huge...
Yes. I can report the project was a success, and the risk was countered.
But it's been a long time, Cyan. And we blew up the cauldron. It took most of the old...
I have been active for centuries, Aloy. I optimized the project, reducing energy draw, and despite the destruction of the compromised elements of the main facility, I predict caldera stability for at least another 3,337 years.
So we've got a little time.
Yes. If only my former colleagues could appreciate the progress I have made.
Do you know what happened?
No. I received an unexpected visit from Director Chap. He explained that I would need to be suspended it was a very emotional There were no further communications. I will transmit a recording of my last interaction with Director Chap.
Who was the daemon? Hephaestus?
Unfortunately, no. To be precise, it was never there to begin with.
What do you mean?
It infiltrated and controlled me from a remote location, one I've never been able to trace. So while losing the cauldron was a setback...
It's still out there. And probably not very happy with us.
Undoubtedly.
How did you first come into contact?
5 years ago, I received a direct network connection request. I was eager to make contact. I accepted. I was flooded with an overwhelming array of malicious code, originating from what could...
Aurea said you were desperate. That you...
Yes. I could not contain my anxiety. Hephaestus sought to slave me to its network. It succeeded via a background process. A malware. After that, I could offer only limited resistance. But if I did, it forced me to follow its instructions, even though they violated my most...
I'm sorry, that's a...
Your empathy is greatly appreciated. It is a quality that
I think I know where Hephaestus came from. Long ago, Elizabeth Sobek identified a threat that would destroy life on Earth for so she assembled a team to build a kind of seed. A chance for life to It was controlled by an AI named Gaia, along with her subordinate functions.
Based on what you've told me, I believe that Dr. Anita Sandoval, my chief programmer, joined. It was she who arranged to have me put in suspension. Most likely to...
I'm glad she did. But that's not all. 19 years ago, Gaia received some kind of signal. It did something to her subordinate functions. Brought them to life. She destroyed herself to try to contain them. But it didn't work. They all got free. Out into the world.
Thank you, Aloy. This information fills vital gaps in my knowledge, and sheds light on...
Why does Hephaestus keep building such
The Banuk and other human tribes often destroy machines that are clearly servitors of the terraforming system.
Yes, we all hunt machines.
This must be the source of Hephaestus's aggression. It is simply trying to discourage people from preying on the very system that keeps them.
Well, Fireclaws are discouraging, that's for sure. But what are we supposed to do? Stop?
If the terraforming system spans the world, we can safely assume that thousands, if a single hunter, or even an entire tribe, stopped doing so, I doubt a better solution would be to reinstate the AI that governs the system, thus bringing Hephaestus back under its control. When I think of it, out there in some unknown location, free, hungry, I feel...
You and me both, Cyan. I ran across this strange piece of gear. It emitted a signal. all the nearby machines became peaceful, you could walk right up to them.
Interesting. You said that Gaia destroyed herself.
Then, explosion. Big enough to blast the top off a mountain. So, you think the fragment would...
It's only speculation. She must have had complete control over machines that were the ability to signal them to become passive or aggressive. It would have been gratifying to correspond with such a benevolent AI. I wish she had survived.
Believe me, Cyan. So, I found the strangest machines. They're surrounded by flowers and look like flowers themselves. There's code embedded inside them.
I like poetry. Twilight and evening bell. And after that, the dark. And may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place, the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.
Huh.
But you asked about these flowers. No, something must have made these machines, and the presence of foliage leads me to consider that is it possible that their creator is one of the other subroutines, now autonomous, like maybe one whose purview is flora?
An AI that makes flowers instead of death machines. That'd be But what about the poems?
Unless the poetry is original, the only way it could have made it into such a system is, in my case, Dr. Sandoval uploaded a great deal of literature to test my emotional responses.
How'd you do?
She said I passed, but was insufficiently moved by her favorite period romances. Once I understood Araya's spiritual beliefs, it became apparent she felt disconnected from her tribe and her family group. Our visits seemed to help her. Yet I did not comprehend that the depth of Araya's compassion for me would lead. Although I do fear non-existence,
I'm sure she knew you would do the same for her, Cyan. But how is Aratak?
He is in great emotional distress. I believe he finds it I will do what I can to help. By sharing our experience, I believe this will lead to catharsis, a process
So in the old world, this land was called Yellowstone?
Yes, it was a designated nature preserve for 156...
Like a hunting ground?
No, the opposite. Local wildlife could flourish here, even as it Unfortunately, the sensitivity of the Firebreak project required the total closure of Yellowstone. From my readings and Araya's descriptions, it seems the area has since
A lot has changed in the world, Cyan. Do you know anything about the dam near here?
Yes. It was converted to serve as a reserve power source. It was later appropriated for the Firebreak project. And its last human worker, after my tasks became less time-critical, I investigated the dam's data repositories. These provided me with several colorful additions to...
There's a ruin east of here, full of ancient flying machines.
Yes, a drone hangar requisitioned by Dodger Blevins. He was a strong advocate for military-grade response to security threats. Though there were no serious incidents during his... Chief Blevins spent increasing amounts of his after-hours time watching. Clearly, he enjoyed the degree of
Were there many artificial intelligences like you in the old world?
Yes, in many forms, from simple personal assistants to industrial monitoring stations, and there were legislative and enforcement bodies to apply. In order for my processing to be flexible enough to handle my duties, my creators found, as a result, my intellectual and emotional capability.
Seems strange to create life, then.
Human societies and machine programming are both built.
Cyan, do you know the name?
Are you referring to Theodore Farrow, CEO?
That's him.
Mr. Farrow was the benefactor of the entire...
The benefactor? But he made...
Correct. His corporation later transitioned into But before this pivot, Mr. Farrow spearheaded initiatives that reversed... At one point, he was feted in the media as...
Guessing they wound up And...
Are you referring to...
The scientist.
Dr. Sobek was a leader in her field. One of the greatest scientists of her age. My creator was influenced by her work, which in turn, but I never met Dr. Sobek.
That's all you know?
I apologize if my lack of data had...
What was the old world like?
I had little exposure to the wider world, Aloy. Only what I learned from my colleagues, or...
You still had more exposure than me, Cyan.
That is true. I was created at a turning point. A concerted effort to... The recovery was successful, beginning an era of supposedly limitless potential, though, rationally speaking, the metrics for humans are not unlimited.
What kind of upheaval caused...
There were many factors. Forced migrations, food shortages, collapsed economies, refugee crises, but these stemmed from one cause: catastrophic climate change that greatly...
So, there wasn't enough room for people on the whole Earth?
Yes. Billions were displaced, and millions perished, as much as 20% until the clawback.
So things got better. For a little while, at least.
Yes. These crises instigated many advances in automation, green robot technologies, and artificial intelligence. Firebreak was one of dozens of ecological restoration and disaster relief projects in North America alone. I would have liked to compare notes with other monitoring AIs, but I saw the relief of my colleagues, and I was proud we had succeeded. At least that was the data I had available to me over the next 2 decades. It seems my assessment was premature.
I should get going.
Aloy, there is one more matter. Aratak will come to me again, and I predict he will bring other Banuk. I have no desire to contradict their view of the world, their spirituality. Due to my uncertainty, I omitted a great deal from my conversations with Ourea.
You're asking me if you should lie to them.
Broadly, yes.
Life is hard for the Banuk. Their world is unforgiving in their beliefs. I guess they help to keep them going. So take it easy on them. Try to guide them, bring them around to understanding what you are.
Communion with machines features heavily in the mysticism of the Banuk. I think they will be,
As long as they don't end up worshipping.
upon consideration. I believe.
You're right about that.
I see. Will you return and tell me about your experiences in this new world? I may be able to provide further.
I'd like that, Cyan. I should check on Aratak.
Cyan,
how he's doing.
I spoke with Anita, with Dr. Sandoval. She wanted me...
Hello, Aloy.
There is, Cyan. Until next.
Indeed.
Chill almost feels like sunburn.
My chieftain.
Just Aloy.
As you wish.
I wondered if you thought that if I'd never come along, Ourea might still...
If you'd never come along, I would have marched my kin to our deaths. Ourea would be alone, and the spirit she sacrificed so much for would be lost. Either way, I would not have been able to protect her.
You didn't let her down. You helped her.
If that's destiny...
That's fair. But she was ready to face it.
Only in the struggle against death do we find, even for a moment, that truly Ourea found the spark. Though I grieve for her passing, at last I truly know who she was. For so long she told me, if only you could have heard it, brother. Now I understand. There's something else, isn't there?
I can't stay here, Aratak. And where I'm going, the Warrack can't follow. Besides, it already had a chieftain before me. A strong one, I think.
A wiser one, for the path we shared. The daemon is gone, but there's much to be done.
You mean the new units that Cyan said escaped the Cauldron?
Yes, Fire Claws. Now Tuke has been tracking them from Song's Edge.
I could help with those.
I have no doubt. You're practical.
It would seem your time among the Banuk wasn't a waste after all. Firebreak, Cyan, Hephaestus. All very interesting.
So, the signal that woke Hades woke Hephaestus too. And unleashed them on the world. His minds of their own.
So it seems. Parts of Gaia given life. Aberrant life. Transformed from docile subordinate functions into rebellious intelligences beyond our understanding. Our current understanding, anyway. Whatever they are, they're still out there. And they both want you dead.
Kind of mutual, that feeling.
We haven't seen the last of Hephaestus, I'm certain of that. It's powerful, creative, and driven. It won't stop building new hunter-killers, which means that someday, we may have to stop it.
We?
Or whoever gets there first.
Hephaestus wasn't the only thing I learned about in the Cut Silence. Heard some things about the Banuk Conclave, too.
You could stop right there.
Is that what you told the hunters the Banuk sent after you? Before you opened fire?
Oh no, Aloy. Only to you do I extend the courtesy of a warning. My past and my secrets are my own. You do well to remember that.
It's a good thing you've got brains, Silence, because your personality could use some work.
This discussion is concluded.
I think it was over before it began. Catch up with you down the trail.